Hello everybody, it's your favorite ship here, Vertical Radio, coming back at you with another video. This is a day 2, the end of day 2 update to my Wyvern Infernalist guide that I put out. I'm just going to go over like how the build plays, what it feels like right now, and then some tips and tricks, as well as going over my passive tree, my gear, and along with some plans for the future. Okay, so first off, let's do a little recap of what the build is. So this is an Infernalist strength stacking build, which means we want to get as much strength as we can. Currently we have 345 because of the Iron Grasp armor here. Iron Grip gives us 2% or 1% projectile attack damage per 2 strength and 1% increased spell damage per 2 strength. So we are strength stacking to get as much projectile attack damage as we can because Rolling Magma is a projectile, Oil Barrage is a projectile, and they are both attack skills. So we can scale our, basically our 2 damage sources up to the roof. And also Flame Breath is just kind of like good to have. It's not a projectile, but it does a lot of damage. Is 34,000 DPS. You'll see later that that goes up way higher. These numbers aren't what they seem right now. So basically we are going to be using Rolling Magma for our clear most of the time. Rolling Magma and Rend as our clear, and then when we get to, say if we meet like a spicy rare or even like a unique enemy, we can gun them down with a barrage if we have power charges, or we can simply just, you know, flame breath them and they die.
I need more time.
So that is the basic concept of the build. Let's go over and see, let's go to the gem setup and see how it plays. So Rend is the basic attack essentially of the Wyvern. It's, as a base, it's just a simple like 1-2 attack. It has a lot of attack speed, because of the rage thing that I have in here. So why is this important? Normally we wouldn't really care about basic attacks, but in this instance we really do want to, because Rend has a buff. When you use it with a power charge, it gives you a buff duration for 10 seconds where it gives you 50% of your damage gained as lightning. Keep in mind, this is damage gained as extra. This is extra damage. This is just here. And it lasts for 10 seconds when you consume a power charge. And it only takes one too. It only takes 1 power charge. So that's just, you know, a little simple step. It's pretty easy to maintain through the map, and it's, you know, 50% extra damage. I have prolonged duration in here so that the buff lasts for 13.5 seconds. I surmise that getting some skill attack, skill effect duration nodes would also play into this really well. And it's, you know, it's just really nice to have. And then obviously if you manage to get some quality on it, it's gained as you get more extra damage. And this applies to all attacks. It applies to everything. It is 50% of your damage on any skill, anything, as lightning. It's pretty crazy, if you ask me. So it is important that we basically always want to keep that buff up. So we want to devour things to get our power charges, and then Rend for the extra. So speaking of Devour, Devour is a leap skill. It is a melee slam. It is also an AoE. It is total attack time, but that's not a big deal because we just put some increased attack speed on it, and then we have a attack speed base for our weapon. So it consumes corpses or Cole's enemies, which give you power charges. Also, a little note, this regenerates life. It's very, very good at keeping you alive. Yes, it's 1 second per enemy or corpse consume over 1 second. 262. It's basically, so basically you can consume up to 2 additional corpses. So you can get 262 times 3, which comes out to like roughly 780 something life over 1 second. It's very good. If you were in a pinch, click it. And then obviously it has some quality effects, but I mess with this. So it targets a corpse or a enemy that you can cull. You cannot use it unless there is a corpse or a cullable enemy in on your target. Very good at keeping him alive, very good for movement, and obviously it's how we get our power charges most of the time. Things to note. Thrill of the kill. If you cull an enemy, you gain a buff that lasts for 8 seconds. Your attacks gain 25% of damage as lightning. So, this paired with the Rend buff is 75% of your damage as extra lightning. It is very good. You just need to find a way to sustain power charges in boss fights and you'll be solid. I have not done that yet. I'm not messing with it, but we'll get there. Increases attack speed and then skill effect duration for more of the buff time here. The buff time on this. So with that being said, now that we have all of our extra gained as extra, we can go into our main setups. So, Rolling Magma. Rolling Magma converts 100% of your physical damage to fire damage automatically. This is the first step in the 2-step conversion process. So, all of your physical damage is automatically converted to fire damage in the first step, and then you get all your gained as extra. So, you're converting it to fire, and then all of your fire damage that you have you then gain 75% of that as extra lightning damage. So, very, very good. So, Rolling Magma. It is a projectile attack. It chains 3 times. See? 1, 2, 3, 4. It hits first and then chains 3 additional times after. So, you want to kind of shoot it ahead of you, or like kind of like, you know, scroll to the side a little bit. Maybe shoot it back. You can move and shoot. That's what I like to do. So, because that being said, I have mobility on it because left movement speed, you know, obviously when you're moving and shooting, you want it to feel as fluid as possible, which is why I put this on. Other than that, we have our simple execute setup because we are a low life. Elemental armament, and then elemental focus. I might take this off soon. It does, less, but like, I want to play around with the ignite a little bit because it has more ignite, more flammability, and more ignite magnitude. Impact radius is 1.7 meters. Right now, I have enough AoE to make that 2.4 meters. It feels pretty nice. Not gonna lie, it feels pretty nice. That's a pretty big AoE. You could put like triple shot on it. I didn't feel like it just because I want to scale this damage up as much as possible to make it clear. Easy. It has enough attack speed. I feel like I'm doing fine just like this. Enough AoE to kind of just run through it. You can put less projectile speed on it to make it like bounce closer together to kind of like shotgun things, which I'll do eventually. I just not right now. And then, you know, 20% more damage to the hits for each time a skill is chained. You could put this up to like 6 chains, and then just let the damage more multiplier just stack up and stack up and stack up. But that's that skill. It's pretty simple. You just kind of shoot it, and that's that. Then we get down to Oil Barrage. Oil Barrage, the non-empowered form, shoots 3 projectiles like that, and also creates oiled ground. So when you hit your target, it exposes them to elements, lowering their elemental resistance by 20%. The oil radius is 2.1 meters. That's why you see that little 2.1 meters right there. And all of this is oiled ground, which means it can ignite it, igniting the oiled ground to ignite the enemy, which leads to some cool things later on. But that's not necessarily how I like to use it. Yes, the exposure is nice, but I think the empowered version is even better. So when you use it with a power charge, it becomes a channeled skill to sustain a barrage of electrified oil that does not create oil ground. Projectiles are fired in sequence, allowing multiple projectiles to hit the same target. So, what does this do? Essentially, you sit here and you hold down the button, and it will shoot a bunch of electrical electrical oil shots at the enemy. It'll do it successfully over and over and over again until you run out of power charges. So I will demo that in the map when we get there, so you can see what it does. I have this on here, concentrated area for more damage, and then obviously rapid attacks for increased attack speed, because it is a 300% attack speed base. So I just scaled that up even more. See, just, oh yeah, these numbers are going to fluctuate a lot. Don't pay attention to them. It's because of the low life shenanigans that I have going on. But so that's that, and then moving on, obviously we have Flame Breath, which is one that everybody saw, the big flying wyvern in the sky. There's a lot of damage. Also consumes rage, but we don't care about that. So, we take to the sky, and is a channeling ability. It spends rage after the first 4 seconds. That's really important. So, our rage cost is ignored for the first 4 seconds of channeling. So we get 4 seconds of 800% attack speed at 90% of our attack damage. We don't need more than 4 seconds normally. 200% more flammability magnitude, less ignite magnitude, converts 100% of your physical damage to fire damage. Also benefits from the 75% gained as extra lightning if you have both buffs up. As well as, when it's empowered, you gain another 50% damage as lightning damage. So, you have a lot of lightning damage on top of a lot of fire damage that you already have. You're basically dual elementing. You can scale one or the other, or you can scale both, like I'm doing. You cannot gain rage while using this skill, and the immolation radius is 2 meters. So, with my increase effects, my impact radius is 2.5 meters for... Oh, that's Devour. Is 2.8 meters on the immolation radius. That's without a magnified area. So what do we do on this skill? Which is what it says. We fly up in the air and we shoot down fire on the enemies. When it's empowered, it shocks them because of the amount of lightning damage. It ignites them because of the amount of fire damage going on and the more ignite magnitude. It's just a very good skill. So, setup. Version 2. 20% more damage per second spent channeling up to 40%. So basically this just reads after 2 seconds of channeling you do 40% more damage. Very nice. Very, 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 very nice. Probably biggest. It's huge. Actually, I don't know if you can see the number pop up. No, you can't see it pop up. Okay, that's fine. We have ignites from supported skills deal damage 15% faster, and then 200% more flammability magnitude. So, with the less ignite magnitude on here, this is kind of just like a maybe it'll do some little extra. I could replace this. I'm probably going to replace it at some point with like a magnified effect or whatever. I just haven't got around to it. It does enough damage already. Enemies shocked by supported skills take 20% of their damage from ignite as lightning damage as well as fire damage. It's just more of this dual scaling. I'll be igniting them and shocking at the same time, so they will just be melting. And obviously rapid attacks. Rapid attacks takes this attack time 0.07 to 0.06 attacks per second up from 13.89 to 16.39. Very good, very good. Bueno. So that is our skill setup. Obviously, we have Bark Skin. Bark Skin is 39% of your 39% of your lost energy shield when you are hit as armor. So I'm going to use some rounding for this. I'm going to say it's 40%. If I have 1,000, if I take damage, I take 1,000 damage, and 1,000 of my energy shield is lost. 400 of that will now become armor. Very good. In my opinion, it saved my butt a couple times. And then obviously you have Dire Strike on here because we are low life, increased attack damage, 70% increase all the time, active, along with the 30% more from Execute. It is very nice. Herald of Ash, just more explosion chaining, very, very good. Like the way that it plays. Okay, so that is the build explanation, the build setup that we're doing so far. Gear setup, we have Iron Grasp here for the Iron Grip and Iron Will. You can use Crown of Eyes. Crown of Eyes, I believe, is very expensive right now if we go to the market. It was like a couple div the last time I checked. It might have gone down. Oh yeah, it's gone down way much. Okay, yeah. So you can use Crown of Eyes, to get the increases of spell damage also apply to attacks. So you can double dip on that and get double damage from that. I chose not to. I wanted more defense, so I have more defense. Is what it is. So other gear, strength amulet, very strength. All attributes strength, also very defensive. This amulet's pretty good. It's pretty whack. It's my best piece of gear. Then I have the talisman. Really, there's only 2 stats on this. It's just physical damage, increased physical damage. Accuracy doesn't matter. None of these actually matter down here. I mean, maybe the life gain per enemy kill, but like I really don't care about that too much. It's just mostly the damage. I'm here for the damage. Rings, strength, all attribute rings, resistances. Max life is very good. Damage to attacks, fire damage. A pretty good ring all around. It's not the best, but you know, it's a decent piece of gear. Same thing with this. It's just a defensive ring, elemental resist all across the board. We have 32 cold, 37 lightning, and then 9% to all. This is actually a pretty good accuracy rating here. It allows us to not miss our attacks. And obviously we have the strength on there. Physical damage to attacks is nice, and the mana is really the only dead stat on that piece of gear as far as I am concerned. We just have a defensive helmet. I need to replace this at some point because I want that energy shield to be even higher. But it does have triple res, which is why I have it right now. Gloves. These gloves aren't good. I need to replace them. The only really good thing on here, or like actually okay thing, is the fire damage to attacks. This would be a lot better if it was physical damage to attacks. And then we have Coward's Legacy, which is the only reason we are on low life right now. And then obviously I need new boots. But that's my gear so far. Passive tree. So we picked up some energy shield nodes, mostly got strength, got some fire pen, elemental if you unite an enemy. I need to put the one up here on shock too. We have skill speed over here because I love skill speed. 3% of maximum life on kill, very nice for mapping. Because we don't need to allocate cannibalism, and we'll still get the full benefit from clearing. More attack damage here. This 60% increased attack damage when on low life, very good, because we're always on low life, so I always have that 60% increased damage. That's a bunch of AoE. These are the new AoE nodes they have in the monk side of the tree. Very nice, very nice. Particularly this one. Increased area effect 18%. 18% is crazy. It's reduced crit, but like I'm not critting right now, and it reduced accuracy, but like what's whatever. You can counteract the accuracy pretty easily. Attack speed, and then attack speed and mana before life. Just generic stuff on there. Nothing crazy. To the fire wheel over here, I'm going to be building into this area. The fire stuff up here, and then more energy shield. Not too much, just strength, attack, and fire. But I'll be converting the fire to generic elemental soon. With this tree that we have. This is a tree that we did on POE Ninja last night before I went to bed. I want to basically change my tree to reflect this. So we have the penetration from lightning and fire going. We have the elemental damage here. I'll probably going to go up and get that 2 points as soon as I can. We have more energy shield here. We have ignite magnitude in here. I'm kind of debating whether I want this or not. I'm still unsure. We have more energy shield here, some more accuracy here. Elemental nodes, just generic stuff. Some more penetration here, very good. Going up in the Wyvern for more damage, gained this extra lightning. Going all the way down here, just more strength. This is, I believe, skill speed in this section, which is why I took it. This is more maximum range, which we need to get our third ascendancy before we can do that. This is more elemental damage. This is more elemental damage. And then I believe this is more skill speed and damage here. So, and we will take more energy shield if we need to. So that is that. minimize that. Get out of the way. That is our build. There's our plans. Now, a little demo. Let's pull up into a... That's a tier 6 map, sure. There's a... let's do that. Poison on hit, ignited ground. Ooh, that's not good. Don't like that. But we're out here. Let me just dump things out real quick. Little demo map. I don't want to do that. I'm going to do this. Just a generic one. I don't want to spend my boss maps with lower modifiers. I'm only in tier 6 map. Also, I'm only level 75 so far. Only 345 strength. That's still a long way to go. So, let's get going. See, rolling magma, kind of our initial that we do. We pull our enemies. We get that up. Now we have our extra. See, our damage went up 20,000 now. That's the buff handing, the buff playing into it. Yeah, we just kind of run around and rolling magma things. Keep our buff up. Just generic Wyvern gameplay you've probably seen from everybody else. Nothing too special. That going. A little pack here. Jump over there, do that. Okay, so this is where I can kind of... This is what Oil Barrage does when you have power charges. It becomes a channel skill and does this. That's why I like to do it the way I do. Just trying to get that off. Ooh. Devour can save your life. Don't forget to devour. Power charges are good. What am I doing? Ooh, hello. Oh, I died there. Rip. Yeah, I don't have the most defenses. I am going to work on changing that pretty soon here. Like I said in my gear description, I need a new helmet, and I need new boots, and I actually need a new helmet, new boots, and new gloves. I just upgraded my rings. Master Jewelers, Uncut 7, 17. Gotta use Devour as kind of a movement skill from time to time. Very good. Very good. Let's go up towards the boss. I probably need some power charge duration things going on, but... You see, this does a lot of damage with that buff on. And that's that. Standard map gameplay. Except the death. That's unfortunately, it just, you know, sort of happens from time to time, for me at least. But yeah, that is the build so far. There is one thing of note that I would like to show off. on POEDB, it is... No. I should have had this ready. I don't know why I didn't. Azira's Communion. So this is a skill. I don't think it's a support gem. I don't think it's in the game yet. It supports spirit skills. And it says... oh, let me do that. Supports buff skills which reserve spirit. Spirit costs from supported skills are converted to reserve a percentage of your life. So, as we know, when you reserve your life to below 35% or use the Coward's Legacy belt, you are considered on low life, which means that you don't necessarily need to be an Infernalist to be low life. This gem, it's a lineage support gem, so you can only use it one per skill, but like you really don't need more. But if this becomes in the game, if this comes in the game, I'll be making another build on a different class for the same strength stacking, and it will most likely be a Titan, but we will see. Also, the path of the Oracle. Actually, it might actually be an Oracle because there's some spicy nodes on that tree that I haven't that look pretty good for strength stacking, but can't do that because I can't be low life to get the benefits from being low life while also strength stacking that. So that is basically it. That's the build. Thoughts in the future. So I guess this final thoughts on the build itself. It's not fast compared to some other ones in my opinion, but that also just because I'm playing it a certain type of way. I think it feels pretty good though. You know, it feels pretty good to run around, rend things, and devour them, and then shoot the fireballs out. And then obviously the oil barrage is really satisfying, and then flame breath is extremely satisfying on bosses. So, I will keep doing this build as far as I can take it. We'll see if we can get it into that miraculous like upper bounds zone that one of my path of buildings is doing for it. So that is all. If you guys want more to see more of me, I stream on Twitch every single day. I have a YouTube, I have a Reddit, all of the rest of my socials linked. So it's all there. I'll be doing some other stuff here and there as well. I have some, you know, some goals, some follower goals, stuff like that. But that is all. I hope you guys like the video, and hopefully you'll like and subscribe if you want to stick around. Other than that, I will see you next time.